see the change, the tone, but they couldn't handle that. No, they couldn't handle that.
Guys, welcome back to my channel. And in this series, we're going to be going over Pluto in the houses, okay? Pluto in the houses. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the 4th house. So having Pluto in your 4th house. And before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys to check out my single, Can't Take the Throne. If you enjoyed the little snippet of music in the beginning of this video, that's my new single. You can check it out here on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. All you have to do is type my name, Sam Dolphin, and it'll sure to pop up. Also, follow me on TikTok as well, too. That is my other platform. You can follow me at Sam_Dolphin. Okay, for TikTok. And finally, if you want an astrology reading, which includes tarot, all you have to do is email me at samastroreadings@gmail.com. That's samastroreadings@gmail.com. And we can go forward with that. So getting back into Pluto in the 4th house, okay? And the first thing I can say about Pluto in the 4th house is that this is a deep placement, okay? Anytime you take a watery planet and you put it in a watery house, it's going to get very watery, very deep, very emotional. And what I will definitely say about Pluto in the 4th house is there's trauma in the family, okay? Trauma within the family. The 4th house rules our home, our family, what we feel is home, okay? The parents that raised us, our family dynamics, and how they nurture us emotionally and how we develop emotionally. When you put Pluto here, Pluto is the planet of transformation, but we're transforming in the most dramatic sense, meaning like obstacles, emotional obstacles that you have to go through, okay? Challenges that you have to go through in order to change. And it's the biggest because it's the deepest. It's Pluto. It deals with your emotions, your soul. Okay, so these are the deepest and biggest transformations. So when you have this in your family, there is just lots of transformations happening, but in order for those transformations to happen, there's the emotional obstacles, the trauma, all those things that Pluto brings. So definitely a very deep placement. Your family could cause lots of trauma in the family. And this is deep because, like I said, your family has a huge impact on your emotional health, okay? How you develop emotionally, how you nurture yourself, how you feel. Okay, your family can determine your depression, how you get into relationships with other people based on how they nurtured you. Okay, and this can predict, this basically sets up your psychological health. Okay, for the rest of your life, which is the most important in my opinion because it affects everything else, including your physical health. So when you have trauma in the family, there's lots of emotional obstacles. Okay, this can lead to depression, lots of abuse in the family, lots of feeling of untrust, and lots of just deep trauma. Because again, when your family puts you through, it's one thing when people outside of you put you through obstacles. You always have your friends or your home or whatever you feel like is home to come to nurture you. But when your own home is putting you through obstacles, when your own home doesn't feel like home because there's so much trauma, when trauma is your home, I mean, that is deep, okay? Because now you technically don't have a place to really hide, okay? And to go for comfort because that place is trauma. That place is trauma. That's where Pluto is at. So it's a very deep placement. It can cause lots of depression, lots of emotional issues, lots of anxiety, okay? Dealing with a traumatic family, okay? And, you know, you can have Pluto in the 4th house and your family be all right, but there could be trauma incidents that happen within the family that can throw it off, okay? So that's also something to be mindful of, is that your family doesn't necessarily have to be the worst thing in the world, okay? There could just be events and certain things happening within the family that throws everything off. So, and a lot of these trauma can manifest in many different ways, okay? Power struggles, okay, within the family. That's a big thing. Okay, Pluto deals with power, okay? And Pluto literally is the type of planet that wants you to be powerful. So in order for you to do that, all your power is taken away from you so that you have the motivation and the drive to get it back. But this happening to your family can seem like lots of power struggles, like your family kind of bullying you, your family taking power over everything that you do, controlling everything that you do, being unfair, being overly controlling, okay? Taking away all your rights. Like, you go home and you just feel like you have no rights, you have no voice, being abused in that type of way, okay? This is the type of things, and power struggles is a big thing with here. So a lot of times your family can, with Pluto in the 4th house, you can feel like your family is like bullying you or have power over you, or constantly making you feel small, feeling like you have no voice, okay, abusing you, taking advantage over you, okay? Definitely an issue with Pluto in the 4th house. And when your family is doing this to you, it's very traumatic, because like I said, if your family is doing this to you, it's like, then who can you trust? Okay, if a friend or an associate or someone outside of you does that, it's different, because you can always fall back to your family or people that make you feel at home. But when your own home is doing this to you, it's really traumatic, because it makes you feel like you're alone. And it's like, well, who do I trust? Who do I have power? Oh, where is my power? Okay, you don't have it. Your family dynamic is like your first experience of how you operate in life in terms of relationships, okay? And when you see no evidence of power in your own family, it's like you probably are not going to believe that it exists anywhere. So again, these power struggles can make you feel very inferior. Your family can make you feel very inferior. Emotionally, you can feel inferior. Emotionally, you can feel weak. Emotionally, you can feel, like you're not worth anything, because of the nurture, the lack of nurture, and the power abuse going on within your family dynamic. So very important to understand, because like I said, it's so much more powerful when Pluto is in a water house, especially the 4th house, because this is your family dynamic and this is how you're being nurtured and grown up. So this kind of nurture can block you from, your potential of understanding your power and expressing yourself in a positive way, because all you've seen and all you've been growing up with is all this negativity, all these power struggles, people constantly pretty much brainwashing you into believing that you're not worth anything. So, and again, it's coming from your family. This is what you call home. So if this is home, then it's like you feel like you have no home, or your idea of home isn't comforting. And with this, people can react differently, okay? Some people, when they deal with a family that's constantly abusing them with their power, it can make the child or the person go out and do it to other people. So take other people's power, bully other people, okay? Or, like I said, it can make you just feel powerless, and you go out into the world and society feeling like you have no say, you have no power or authority, because of the way you were nurtured. So it could go both ways. You could be the one bullying or be bullied. You could be the one in power, abusing people, or being abused with the power based on how you were nurtured. So a very important thing to understand. Also, the emotional abuse, okay? Again, and that all goes under, the trauma, emotional abuse, your emotions. Again, this is your 4th house deals with your emotional development, and that's going to deal with how you nurture yourself, how you nurture other people, how you connect to other people, how you can connect to yourself. When you deal with your family, when you deal with a family that's emotionally abusive, it makes it hard for the person to be able to nurture themselves, to take care of themselves, to love themselves, because of the emotional abuse, okay? And, that's gonna travel with you, throughout your life, and you're gonna have to deal with depression, deal with anxiety, because of all the emotional abuse that you've been, taking. You don't know how to regulate your emotions, okay? And the emotional abuse can manifest, it can result to the person in many different ways. You can have lots of anger issues, lots of emotional issues. You can't control your emotions, because of all the emotional abuse you've had. So you're like lashing out. Depression, definitely, like straight off the bat, depression with Pluto in the 4th house. When you're dealing with family emotional abuse, you're dealing with negative vibrations, okay? So much so, okay, in your home that it becomes, it becomes your body, it becomes your mind, it becomes your soul. Okay, you have all these negative thoughts because you're literally being nurtured and drenched in all of it. It's your family, this is what you're raised, this is the first relationships we're making. So again, these emotional abuse can make it hard. Pluto in fourth house people, because of the emotional abuse, if they don't take their lessons and try to win over these obstacles, okay, because this is what these are. As challenging as these are obstacles that you have to overcome. If they don't overcome these obstacles, it's just going to lead to lots of depression, lots of anxiety, lots of emotional issues. Even if you're not lashing out on people or getting angry at other people and being emotionally abusive to other people, you could just be like that to yourself, just not nurturing yourself, not caring for yourself, being very mean to yourself. All those angry emotional things that your family told you, now you're telling yourself that all the time. So it leads to a lot of depression. So the emotional abuse is very serious. Emotional abuse is very, very serious. It's a type of abuse that you can't see physically, but it's so much a part of you, and that's what makes it tricky to heal. And because you are, again, nurtured in this emotional abuse, it makes it hard for you to heal yourself and nurture yourself and take care of yourself, because that wasn't being done to you. You weren't nurtured that way, okay? You were nurtured the opposite. So you don't even know how to heal yourself properly. And that's a very important thing for Pluto in fourth house people to do, is to heal themselves, to learn how to heal themselves. But the emotional abuse is a challenge, definitely, 100%. And it can manifest into a lot of issues later in life. That's why it's so serious to do shadow work and to regulate your emotions and to nurture yourself. And again, like I said, it's not easy. When you're nurtured in a very abusive way, it's hard for you to take care of yourself properly, because all you know is abuse. Okay, and that's the type of influence a family has on you. So very important to know. That's why I said Pluto in fourth house is a very challenging placement. Also, with emotional abuse, Pluto also deals with sex. There could be sexual abuse as well too, within the family, which again, very traumatic. Okay, Pluto in fourth house is deep. I really can't sugarcoat it. And I've been feeling this way a lot with the Pluto series in general. A lot of times when I'm editing, I try to take some certain things out so it's not too offensive, but I have to realize that everyone manifests as Pluto fourth house in many different ways. And to take something out because it's too dark is, to me, not unfair. And I have to be honest, sexual abuse is a real thing. And it's very emotionally traumatic to someone. It could really damage someone, especially when it comes from your home. Again, the feeling of not feeling safe. This all aligns with the emotional power abuse, all of that. And again, just another example of this abuse coming within the home. And you guys understand how sexual abuse, traumatizes a person and damages them. So again, Pluto in fourth house is no joke. I'm telling you, these obstacles are very strong because, Pluto in a different house, can be maybe easier because you got to wait until you're, I don't know, if it's in the ninth house, you got to wait until you're traveling or doing something philosophical. You can kind of separate these areas in life. But when it comes to your fourth house, your home, how you're nurtured, is nothing you could escape, really. So that's why the energy is so strong. Okay, and that's why I say, like, a lot of these abuses can come on. So sexual abuse is no exception. So definitely be careful with that. Okay, no, be careful, be mindful of that. Definitely a huge manifestation when it comes to Pluto in the fourth house. So with all that being said, the emotional abuse, the sexual abuse, the power struggles, all of this is happening. I know it's traumatic, it's tragic, and it's difficult, but I'm telling you, there's a saying, God will not give you a challenge that you can't overcome, and I truly believe that. We all have Pluto placements, and if you have Pluto in the fourth house, I know as traumatic as it is, I'm telling you, Pluto wants you to take your power back in your home, in your sense of family. All of these issues that you've gone through, whether you've gone through some of them, all of them, a few of them, whatever it is, these emotional obstacles in your family are supposed to get you angry, almost, get you mad, and motivate you to take back your power. your sense of peace, your sense of home, your sense of nature, your sense of belonging in a family. Okay? Pluto in the fourth house, you have to transform. You're not supposed to just get, you're not supposed to just be getting abused over and over again. That's not the hope. That's not the point of Pluto. Pluto's trying to get you to get angry, to get mad, and to motivate you to take back your power fiercely. Pluto's very karmic. It deals with like negative karma. So these are lessons that we have to learn. And if you believe in past lives, you possibly could have had lots of issues with family, okay? And Pluto wants you to take back your power, okay? Stop being so easily used, okay? Easily identified and used by your family. Pluto wants you to take back your power. So with Pluto in the fourth house, eventually through all this abuse and these obstacles, you're supposed to gain back your power in your family. Have your own family. Have your own home. Own your home. Dominate it. Dominate your territory. Have your own sense of peace and nurture. Take back your love for yourself. Take back your nurture for yourself. Take back your sense of belonging and comfort. Take back your peace for your soul. Take back the peace you need for your soul. This is about Pluto in the fourth house. You're not supposed to be just traumatized all day long. All of these traumas are supposed to motivate you to take back your power. Okay, Pluto in fourth house people, these people eventually leave their families. They don't stay, okay? When people say that all family isn't good and some of them you have to cut off, this is a perfect example, okay? Pluto in fourth house, a lot of you Pluto in fourth house people, you guys do not need to be so associated with your family members. It's probably sometimes best to cut it off. Cut it off with your family members. Create your own family. Have your own space. That's a big thing for Pluto in fourth house people, to have your own home and to be in charge of your own home. Have your own space. Have your own place. Have your own peace. Take back your power. Take back your ability to nurture yourself. Comfort yourself. Pluto in fourth house people, a lot of times these people like to be alone, like to be in solitude, to comfort themselves. When you go through so much emotional abuse in your own home, you're looking for a home. I don't care what anyone says, you're looking for a home for your own sense of peace. So a lot of times these Pluto in fourth house people, they like to be in solitude because it's a great way to comfort themselves and to get away from all the trauma and just to be within themselves, because they don't trust anybody else in their own home, But again, the point of this is to take back your power, is to have authority, okay? And have control over your own home and your own space and have your own sense of peace, Which leads me to the next point is generational karma, defeating generational karma. This is a big topic that a lot of people talk about, generational karma. Well, here in Pluto in the fourth house, I feel like this is a perfect example of this, okay? Generational karma is this term that people use when they talk about issues that keep getting passed down through the family, through the bloodline, through families, and these type of emotional issues, whatever they are, depression, anxiety, image issues. But with Pluto in the fourth house, this is the definition. This placement is the definition of breaking those. It's like Pluto in the fourth house people, you're like the type of person, maybe you were raised in a family where everyone's a single mother. Let's say that. That's a pretty, everyone's a single mother and you're just tired of it. You're tired of, seeing this pattern. Your mother was, and you've seen how your mother had to struggle and how it emotionally affected everyone. So you get angry, you get pissed off. This is Pluto. Pluto's about that rage. And you're tired of it. So you break it off. You're like, no, I am not getting married. I am not having a family. Okay, fourth house. Unless I'm not you're not getting married. You're not having a family. You're not having kids unless you're in a committed relationship where the person is committed. Okay? And you're not going to submit to any type of relationship until then, until you got that real stable commitment. That is breaking a generational karma, because you're breaking these patterns, these emotional patterns, because a lot of times people get into these unsupported relationships because emotionally they don't support themselves. So they get in, relationships are a reflection of us. So they get into relationships like that. And like I said, in the fourth house, the way you're developing your fourth house, your home, your family, that's going to determine how you create relationships. So automatically, Pluto in fourth house, they usually have to overcome obstacles with relationships because they've seen nothing, they've had nothing but bad examples. Okay, but breaking, again, going back to the point, breaking the generational karma is finally having enough of the toxicity in your family, whatever it is, and saying, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm changing it. That's the transformation. That's how you break the curse. That's how you break the curses within the family, and you stop a certain pattern from constantly going down. And what is it going to take for you to stop this pattern? Pluto. Because Pluto's going to challenge you. If you have a different planet like a Venus, it's not going to challenge you. So you're just going to be comfortable. But when you have a planet like Pluto, Pluto is going to give you that motivation to break that karmic cycle in your family. So Pluto in the fourth house is a big opportunity to break karmic cycles, curses within your family, because you're tired of it and you want to change it. That's the motivation. That's going back to what I said. The whole point of Pluto is to transform you. All of these irritating issues and obstacles are here so that you can get tired of them and overpower them. You know, so that's what's going to take you to quit. But a lot of times people say, why do we have these type of planets, you know, that are so malefic? It's because sometimes the universe needs to get you to move, and you're not going to change your patterns unless you have something traumatic or challenging to get you to do it. So this is that type of placement. So I say this all to say, Pluto in fourth house people, to me, the way I look at your placement, you have a karmic duty to break some type of emotional traumatic cycle in your family, break some type of generational curse, break something, transform, change, okay? And that is, again, taking your power back. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be like what my family members were doing. I'm not going to continue this toxic pattern. I'm going to change that. I'm tired of it. And that's what Pluto is here for, to get you to get tired of these things so that you can motivate, have the motivation to change. Also, with Pluto in the fourth house, these people are very emotionally intuitive. Very, okay? You put a water plant in a water house, automatically you're going to be emotionally intuitive, okay? You could feel people's energies easily, okay? Naturally, feeling people's emotions and intentions naturally and easily. And because you have Pluto here, Pluto being such an intense watery energy, you could be very intentional of it. Like, you could read people very well, okay? No one has to say anything to you. You can read them very well, okay? You can feel them very well, okay? Feel all their energies. And it was probably something you needed to develop when you were younger, dealing with the trauma in your family. So you had to be intuitive, so you knew what was going on, because Pluto is shocking. Pluto is traumatic and shocking, and sometimes you don't know when it's coming. So you had to develop a sense of being in tune with people so that you didn't get into so much trouble, or at least you were prepared for it. But being emotionally intuitive is a strong energy with Pluto in fourth house. Very emotionally intuitive, can feel people's energies very easily, very clearly. And they could really read people very, very well. And they had to really survive or cope with the traumas in their family. Also, Pluto in the fourth house, very powerful, explosive emotions, okay? We talked about that in Pluto in the third house, but Pluto in the third house is more like at the mouth. You know, Pluto in fourth house, it is your whole, like, it's emotions, it's your whole feeling, it's your mind, it's your soul. The explosions can be tense here because of how deep the emotions, like, again, when your family is causing trauma to you, it's more traumatic than someone outside of your family, because the expectation, you expect your families to care for you, to nurture you, and that's all you know, okay? So to feel that type of betrayal can cause strong emotions. I mean, the trauma that goes in, like, this is like, Pluto in fourth house is like family drama, lots of yelling, abuse going on, like, and it doesn't have to be like that for everyone. Like I said, you can have a very peaceful family, Pluto in the fourth house, but traumatic events happening within the family that kind of turn everything. So it can manifest in many different ways. It doesn't have to be a super toxic family, but whatever it is, whatever traumas happen within the family, this can cause trauma within yourself so you can explode emotionally. Okay, these people can have some great pent up rage. Okay, when you deal with so much trauma in your home, you have a lot of stress, you're holding on to. You know, this is why kids can, you know, go to school and misbehave, because they're not getting the nurture in their homes. Okay, so it can cause lots of behavioral issues, but also just lashing out emotionally. There's a lot of pent up anger and energy in Pluto fourth house person, and it can be used in a good way or a bad way, because a lot of times Pluto fourth people, you have to be powerful, you have to be strong, and sometimes people are going to push your boundaries so badly that you have no choice but to explode. But because at the end of the day, because of the trauma you've been through and because it's coming from your family, there's a lot of emotional baggage and pent up anger and energy that you have. So you can really seriously explode. You can get really, really dramatic. The emotions are deep. Again, boundaries and family. Very important with Pluto in the fourth house to have boundaries with your family, because they're not going to have boundaries with you. Okay, and that's not all the time, but this is the fourth house, let's be honest. You know, you want boundaries with your family, okay, because they're going to be violating your boundaries. And okay, that's that Pluto energy, that abusive bullying energy. So you want your power, you want to take your power back by having boundaries. They can't know everything, they can't be in all your business, they can't have everything of you. You have to put boundaries because they can easily take advantage of you. So a very important thing for Pluto fourth house to establish boundaries within your family so that you're not being abused and taken advantage of. Also, with Pluto in the fourth house, a lot of times the relationships that you make can be very deep. Okay, Pluto's a very deep energy, and so is the fourth house. Okay, very emotional energies. So emotional people connect strongly. Okay, and your relationships can look just like that. Pluto fourth house people can connect so deeply to a person, so deeply, because they have so much emotional energy, but it could be so toxic. If these people don't heal their wounds, okay, they don't nurture themselves, they don't have that ability to, they could just get into some of the most toxic relationships. Toxic, them being abusive or getting to a person that's abusing them. It could really manifest toxic relationships. So be very careful, okay, and you could fall so deep and hard for a person as well too. Be very careful with that, because you really have to heal yourself. You don't really want to get into relationships until you have a good control over your depression. Not even control, a healing of your depression, a healing of your emotions, and you know how to regulate them and express them in a healthy way. You know, if you don't have that control yet, you haven't learned those emotional lessons yet, because that's what you need to be healthy, to take your power back. If you haven't taken your power back by healing yourself, you're going to create some horrible relationships with people in Pluto in the fourth house because of the way your family nurtured you. So be very careful with that. And it's toxic and horrible also because a lot of times you connect very deeply too. So it'll be hard for you to even release from these people. So be careful with that, okay? Or you could be the one being very toxic, trying to control other people in relationships too. Let's be very honest. You could definitely easily be that person that, you know, is abusive to other people in relationships. So be very mindful of that, because like I said, the fourth house does impact your relationships and your psychology in general. But yes, that is Pluto in the fourth house. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Pluto in the fourth house is deep. It is deep. Okay, I'm telling you, sexual abuse in the homes, power struggles, emotional abuse, toxic relationships. You need to transform. And you're giving all these obstacles not for you to just drown in them. It's for you to overpower and overcome them. It's supposed to all this opposition is supposed to motivate you to fight back. Okay, Pluto wants you to fight back, take your power back. Okay, through healing. Heal yourself. Take responsibility of your emotions. Okay, a lot of people, again, with Pluto in fourth house, they could just go out and start abusing other people, and instead of taking care of themselves, isolating themselves from their family, and just nurturing themselves and healing themselves so that they're ready to connect, because they've connected with themselves and healed themselves from all the trauma. So Pluto is trying to give you back your power, and you can have this power, but you have to take these strong, deep lessons seriously. So, you know, Pluto 4th house is no joke. It's not for anyone, but if you have it, it's your karmic duty, okay? Your karmic duty to heal your wounds and even kill your generational curses. And heal your wounds and heal your emotions and start a family of your own that is actually healing, okay? And to get rid of those toxic, you know, patterns in your family and your generation. So very deep placement. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and if you did, check out my book a reading with me. I do readings. All you have to do is email me at samastroreadings@gmail.com. Okay, and we can go forward with that. Also, check out my music, my videos. All of those will be in the link in the description box below. And I'll check you guys out on the next video.